Hello and welcome back, Realty Pros. Thank you for joining us for another Thursday afternoon Realty Talk. Um, our training for the last couple of weeks have been surrounded by the building your business like a business. And so we are going to continue in that training. And we have with us to finish that training out for us our beautiful broker, Miss Jasmine Porter. So we appreciate you coming and joining us and giving that training to us. We also always appreciate all the Realty Pros that take advantage of the training and they join us as well. Thank you all so much.
Good afternoon, Realty Pros. We are so excited as always. Whenever we get the opportunity to connect with you guys, it is definitely a joyous occasion. So I'm always eager to see which of our family members are going to join us in the afternoon as well as in the evening. Hello to you. I see Ronald has joined us. I want to say hello to all of you, but I'm going to move forward and we'll have a time to chat afterwards. As Anita has mentioned, we have had some wonderful training over the last month and a half or so. So if you guys have been plugged into everything that's been going on Realty Talks, then you will be off to a tremendous start for this new year. We started out talking about gold in the palm of your hands. And I'm just going to do a quick recap before I go back into the finalization of Mr. Porter's training for today. And if you couldn't tell, I'm filling in for Mr. Porter. Nevertheless, I want to go ahead and recap for those of you that may be here but need a refresher, or if you were not able to join, I want to make sure that you don't miss out on anything. But it was so powerful this year, guys. We began with the gold series. And if you're familiar with those, we start with gold in the palm of your hands. And I want you guys to interact with me. So drop in the chat or unmute yourselves to participate. But what we started out talking about was the tremendous opportunities that we have for business simply in our cell phones. So the gold in the palm of your hands, we had each Realty Pro to just drop in the chat the number of people that they already have in their cell phones. Some people had hundreds, others had thousands of contacts right offhand. And what we did was we went to our business plan, right? To the making it easy, breaking down the numbers, and showed how most Realty Pros, many of them had 15 clients, 20 clients, 30 clients waiting for them in the palm of their hands. And those are free. Those are the people that already know, like, and trust you. Those are people that already have relationships with you. So we started out going with the lowest hanging fruit, who are the people that we already have relationships with, knowing that at some point, many of them will need to either purchase a home or sell a home. So being diligent to reach out to them in the beginning of the year so that we can have a conversation with them and find out what their real estate goals are for the year and help to give them real estate goals if they did not have any. Nevertheless, the purpose of that training was for us to see that we literally are holding gold with all the contacts that we currently have, all the marketing endeavors that we do, and everything that we aspire to achieve when we go out and prospect and have home buyer expos and everything that we do. It's so that we can get leads, so that we can get contacts that we can then scrub to generate leads. So it was tremendously imperative for us to start with what we already have, right? It's one thing for us to look at what we have to gain, but it would be amiss for us to not take into account what we already have in our midst, what we already have in our hands. And that's where that training focused us as it pertains to all the people that we already know. So I want to encourage you guys to embrace that opportunity, continue it if you've begun it. If you have not, jump in right now and go through your phones. We had a text campaign to help you to generate some of those organic conversations, and then had times for you to simply call those people. And we'll come together and do it as a group. But I just want to recap some of the wonderful trainings that you guys have had so far this year. And then the gold under your feet, those are people that are right within arm's reach, right? Those are the people that cut your hair. Those are the people that style your hair. Those are the people that maybe your post office worker, your trash man, your whomever, right? If it's the person in the Starbucks, the person in the grocery store, that list is extensive. It goes on and on. When we're talking about our sphere of influence, those people that are the gold that are right up under our feet, those are people all around us every single day. And what we talked about was capturing those contacts, right? Because we talked about for the number of people that we have in our phones, most of us know many more people or come into contact with many more people than we actually have contact numbers for in our actual cell phones. So we challenged each and every last one of our Realty pros to be intentional about capturing contact information for every single person that we meet, every single person that we know. We gave practical applications and very simple ways on how to do that. You know, we have virtual business cards. We encouraged every person to download the dot card. And if you would, if one of our leaders would drop it into the group chat or drop it into the chat on here now so that people would have the link for dot card and have the link for hi hello as well. Because we're talking about prospecting in a very practical way. We want you to have a way that's nearly seamless in order for you to capture this information. So having those electronic business cards will then allow you to simply, you have the opportunity, you have your phone in the hand. Hey, I will send you my link right now. And with your dot card or your hi hello link, it's going to send them much more than your telephone number. It's going to send them your telephone number, your email address, your website, your social media addresses for all the handles that you have. But even more importantly, it allows for you to capture their information on the spot. Because in order for you to send them your information, you've got to get theirs first, right? So those were some of the things that we reiterated when we're talking about all the tremendous opportunities that we have right in the palm of our hands. Those are some of the things that we want you guys to maximize. So as you go out and as you prospect and as you endeavor to generate all of the leads to fill your pipelines for a tremendous 2025, we want you to be aware of all the opportunities that are around you every single day and all of the resources that you have in order to take full advantage of those opportunities, guys. So those were some of the brief recaps from some of the trainings that we had. And of course, each one of those had their own hour to an hour and a half. So I will not go through all the information, but the videos are very much available. Nevertheless, afterwards, we went through setting our goals and going through our business plans. This year, we determined that we would take the single goal, right? If we look at all of our goals and say, okay, of everything that I endeavor to do this year, of all of these things, which one thing, if I accomplished, would have the single most positive impact on every other area of my life, right? That was the question that began the series of trainings that we did on our business planning. And all of our Realty pros were asked to grab one of those action planners, the goal action planners that we have in your broker mint library, and for you to choose what that one goal that would have the single most positive impact on everything else. And then for you to make that goal smart, walk it across the chart, and then plug in each of the activities on a weekly basis that are necessary in order for you to accomplish that goal. Now, the beauty in that is many of those goals you'll be able to accomplish maybe within a month, a week, 2 months, a quarter. So it doesn't take a full year to accomplish the goal. Nevertheless, it is so imperative to get it done because it's going to have a positive impact on everything else. And for most of our Realty talks, our Realty pros, I dare say 99% of you, all of them were attributed to increasing your finances. All of them were with respect to increasing your income for 2025. So if that is the case, and it very much is, because we know that our finances impact everything else that we do, then we encourage you guys to absolutely take an approach that you will be unrelenting, that you refuse not to thrive in 2025. Because we have been diligent and many of you have been very consistent over time, planting seeds, having conversations with buyers and sellers and prospecting and follow up and all those things. And we have declared that this is absolutely our season where every last Realty Pro, you guys are going to harvest on all of the seed that you have sown. So we want to push you to continue in that vein. Keep that momentum that you're building already so that you will thrive in 2025. It takes your effort, however. It takes you being diligent and persistent and having that unrelenting, unwavering, just grit, determination that you're going to follow through no matter what. Because you've got to get to a point where you say failure is not an option for me. And in our book, failure simply means that you quit. Because if you continue, you won't fail. Even if you have challenges, even if you have setbacks, you simply reset, you simply continue, you move forward, you make the adjustments, you learn what you need to learn, you link arms with your fellow Realty pros. You know that our theme for the year is moving forward, moving higher together, serving others. So even if you had a season where you had a setback, that is not a failure. You continue, you move forward, you reset. In other words, some people might say you lick your wounds, but at the end of the day, you get up. And that is what determines champions, right? It doesn't mean that you won't take a hit, does not mean that you won't get knocked down. Trust me, all of us do. But you get up and you determine that you are going to be persistent and you're going to be resilient no matter what happens. So I'm speaking that into every last Realty Pro under the sound of my voice today and everybody who will listen to this call afterwards. Resilience, no matter what, because you got into this business for a reason. Every last Realty Pro has a why. You know that Mr. Porter and I, we are very passionate about serving people. We're very passionate about helping people to attain their dream of home ownership, their dream of maximizing their profits on selling their home, right? Building financial freedom, them having legacy and generational wealth, having something to pass down to the next generation, them building a lifetime of success for themselves. There's so much that's wrapped up in real estate. One of the things that we know and all of us learned in real estate school is that land is unique in and of itself because you can't get any more. So we can move land from one place to the next, but we're not building a whole new earth. We're not building new land. So that means that in and of itself, it has value. So when we help people to be owners of land and houses and everything else that comes along with us, we literally help to change people's lives. So I want for all of us to have that very same passion for what it is that we do, because we are very much salespeople, but you're not selling the house per se. You're selling the person on the value of them being a homeowner. You're selling the person on the value that you bring to the table with your expertise and helping them to sell their homes. So oftentimes people don't know how essential it is for them to be a homeowner. And that's where your sales skills come into place. That's when we present to them all of the features, advantages, and benefits of home ownership. That's when you talk to them about how imperative it is for them absolutely to pay their own mortgage instead of paying somebody else's mortgage. One of the slides that we have in our Home Buyer Expo presentation shows the appreciation of properties over the last maybe 30 to 40 years. And there's one thing for certain, two things for sure. Property prices increase over time. Even if there's a momentary slump in the market, you look back at those trends, no matter what it looks like, there is appreciation over time in real estate. So when our clients or when our loved ones within our sphere of influence, they have reservation about whether or not they should buy and if it's a good time to buy and what's going on with the political climate and what's going on with all of these things, one thing that we can absolutely tell them that I don't know of a time where it's not in your best interest to be financially stable, for you to have the security of owning your own house and your own land. If things were to even, take a turn, you would want to own your own house and your own land, even if you had to farm your own property, right? Nevertheless, no matter what the circumstances are, we've got to be passionate in our conversations with people, letting them know how essential it is, this area of real estate and ownership. And guess what? You guys get to be the ones to administer that and to facilitate that process to them. You've heard us say that we are ministers in the marketplace, and this is absolutely what we do. There's some people that help people to give birth, they're midwives. There's some people that help people when it's time for them to get a job or graduate college or retire or get married. There's so many different phases that are milestones and monumental in people's lives. But guess what? All of us get to be the ones to help them to achieve wealth through real estate. We get to change their lives every single day. So as we're talking to people, I want us to talk from this place of passion, because the value that we have, it goes well beyond a commission. When your commission is 4% or whatever your commission is for the buyer side, 3.5%, 4%, whatever that is, that buyer benefits hand over fist more than you do with the appreciation of his property, with the tax benefits that he or she, just from owning a property, with everything that they'll get in terms of equity in their home and changing their lives and having that space. There are incremental as well as monumental changes that real estate will have on that person's life. So I want for each and every last one of us to be able to articulate that value to all of our clients when we're talking to them about this market, when we're talking to them from this place of passion about real estate, because we really desire to change their lives. So as we reach out to people in our sphere of influence, and as we determine what our business plan goals are going to be, let it be from that place of passion. Every last one of us has a why. Like we said, every last one of us has a reason why we're doing what we're doing. I'm simply asking that you add that to it, right? Real estate will make a beautiful life for you. Simply be diligent and consistent over time. There was a wonderful quote shared by one of our awesome realty pros, Curtis Price. One time he said this thing that I will never forget. He said, "Little hinges swing big doors." And that was so cool to me, because oftentimes we think that it's the grand things that make the most impact. But it's really those things that are our small things that are consistent over time that really make an impact. Even when we think of the domino effect, guys, we think of a domino, you start out with something very little and then it snowballs and becomes something very big. I want you to think about that in terms of your prospecting. I want you to think about that in terms of your marketing and your endeavors, and be very diligent to do whatever it is that you need to do. All right. So that was an introduction there, as well as a recap. And one of the things that I will do is I will share a part of Mr. Porter's presentation as it pertains to setting up your business like a business, because we are very intentional in what it is that we have you guys to do. One of the things that I'll say from the training that Mr. Porter did is he did such a tremendous job at going through everything that you need to set up your business like a business. But I want to ask you guys, because it's one thing for us to share and present, but it doesn't do any good if you don't get what we're hoping that you'll get out of it. There's some very specific reasons why we want you guys to do this. Can anybody take themselves off of mute and tell me, with everything that we're talking about, you being able to run your business, right? We want you guys to be successful in real estate. We want you guys will have marketing that you will not even have to worry or have a consideration about where those funds will come from to support that, right? We want you guys will have the best year in your real estate career to date. So as we're talking about the things that you need to do to position yourselves to thrive in 2025, as we have coined, why do you think it's imperative for you to set up your business the way that Mr. Porter has been teaching you? And I can go through this, but many of you have been in these trainings. And even if you have not, you may have a pretty, a good notion as to why these things will be important to you. And before I just go through the list of rattling them off to you, I want to hear from you guys. Tell me what your thoughts are. And feel free to unmute yourself if you have anything that you would like to contribute.
When you have your business set up as a business, people take you seriously because they will, if you have serious clients, especially if you, I mean, just for example, if you think of you're doing business with somebody who's done several transactions before and they're considering you as their realtor, one of the things they'll do is that they'll look you up. They'll look to see if you have a website. They'll look to see if you are set up, if this is your first time you're doing this, to make sure that they're making the right choice. But if you're set up as a business, they'll look you up and see that you are actually a business and not just as a realtor. And that gives you credibility. And then it also allows them to research you because you'll have a website, which is already based there. You will have a credit rating if they have to look at you up with the DUNS number or anything to that effect. You will have also a place if they look you up on social media. You'll have a footprint on social media where they can look you up and see the transactions you've made. They'll see the comments or the reviews from your previous clients from that. So you will have actually access to the information they need to make that decision. But not only that, but they'll have the reviews to see how well you did with other clients, giving them the confidence they need to actually move forward and also refer you to other people. So that's one of the things.
Outstanding, Faith. Thank you so much for sharing. Who's next? Why does it benefit you guys to set up your business like a business?
Tax credit.
I love it. Who was that said tax credit?
Faith.
Thank you again, Faith. All right. I know we have some more brave Realty pros on the line who will unmute themselves and share. Who's next?
And also um, allowing the business to fund the business and not you personally funding the business.
Oh my goodness, Anita, that was so good. I want to make sure that everybody got that. Will you expound upon that for us?
So when you set up your business like a business, you have your business name. Your business name has its own identity, which is separate and apart from you personally. And so you begin to start dealing with the banks and creditors, well, not creditors, the banks and lending institutions that will then begin to extend to you credit, and so that you're able to then everything that you do as it pertains to the business, your marketing, your events, any supplies that you may need, your annual dues, and all of that stuff is all being paid for by the business.
That was perfect. That was so perfect, Anita. Thank you for sharing that, guys. Does anybody else have any thoughts on that or any other reasons why you should set up your business like a business? Well, between the two of you, you could have taught this training today because that was absolutely perfect. Just to recap very briefly, we're talking about building your book of business so that you will have the best year in your real estate career today, right? And there's some elements that we've already trained you guys on where they are absolutely free, where you're able to reach out to your sphere of influence. You're able to maximize and multiply your book of business from your sphere of influence and grow them by all the people that you come in contact with on a daily basis. But that's not the end of it. That's
I'd
just
like
the
to add
beginning.
one.
In addition to that, we want to be prospecting to people that we have not yet met. And in order for you
I
to
wanted
do
to
that,
add
you've
something
got,
too. The
go ahead, Ms.
creating
Pat,
your
come
own
on.
business and moving forward, that also protects you. It provides a level of protection, of separation between your business and your personal assets.
Great job, Miss Pat. Thank you so much for adding that. If somebody would drop in the chat the reasons that you guys have said already that it benefits us to set up our business like a business, because those are very good, and I'm hopeful that everybody will capture those. But absolutely. So, Mr. Porter and I want you guys to be, well, Porterhouse in general, we want you guys to be the most successful as you can possibly be. And we know that there's some strategies that help aid you in that endeavor. And this is very much one of them. So when you think about marketing and you think about what's my budget and you think about what does that look like in terms of leverage, right? You think about, okay, well, Mrs. Porter, walk me through this business plan. And based on the income goal that I desire to make for the year, I need to have maybe 2,400, contacts, or I need to have 5,000 contacts, depending on what your goal is. Okay, well, I know I can get many of those from my sphere, but what about the rest of them? Where do the rest of them come from? Right? And I'm so glad you asked that question. Great question, guys. The rest of those come from people that you have not yet met. And that's the market that we reach when we do our marketing, when you've set up your business and you have your entity, you've gone to the bank. So now you have a credit card for your business. So now your credit card is going to fund the marketing that you're going to do. So you have a 6-month marketing campaign that's already set at the beginning of the year. Why? Because you set up your business, you got your business credit card, and now that's going out. And you will be diligent in your follow-up. So guess what? You're going to have closings after closings from all of your diligent marketing, and your closings are going to pay back your business credit card. Your closings are going to pay for your brokerage fees, your board fees, your any other fees that you have, because you have properly structured your business. So you don't ever have to worry about, okay, well, did I have a training lately? I'm not a settlement lately. You're having a training right now. Don't worry. But have I had a settlement lately so that I can be able to market and to, fund this campaign that I want to do? When you've properly structured your business, you don't have to worry about that because you have your business credit. If you have one business credit card, if you have two, if you have three, if you have five at 5 different banks, either way, all of those will go to funding your business. And then, like you heard Anita state so eloquently, your business will pay for itself as well as pay itself back. So this is what we want you guys to do. We want you to understand what leverage looks like. We want you to understand how you fund your business through your business, and your business revenue will pay itself back. So that we come out of the mind of being nervous or afraid when it comes to establishing business credit, because it's your businesses, right? So Mr. Porter did such a great job with everything that he's taught you guys on that. I truly encourage you to go back and look at both of those videos. You have a whole hour worth of content in both of those that will walk you through step by step everything that you need. But I would be remiss if I didn't ask for all of our Realty pros. I want you to drop a message in the chat if you have already either started setting up your business or completed the process. So you can drop an S in there if you've started, or a C if you've completed the process. Because we want to join arms with you. We want to help each and every last one of you so that you will have the ability to move forward in this. You have access to both Mr. Porter and myself and all of our Realty pros who've completed this beforehand. So you don't have to worry about, well, I didn't know what to do next. So I was a little bit bashful to ask. So I just kind of stopped right there. We are absolutely here for you guys, and we want to make sure that you get everything that you need out of this process. Now, I'm going to stop that presentation right now because I want to open up the floor to hear from you guys. I want to hear some of your thoughts, some of your takeaways, any questions that you might have. Ronald, I see your message in the chat. You said, I learned that it's best to use the code education or consultant for business and not the finance code if you need business funding. All right. Faith said tax credit, business funding, protecting your personal assets. That's right. Anita dropped the notes in there for you guys. Please pay attention those. Pay attention to those. Gina, I see you said you've completed the process. Sean has completed the process. iPhone 4, I believe that is Mr. Ambassador Kermon McPayton. We'll rename you, don't worry. You've completed the process. Aurelia has begun the process. Anita has begun the process. Angela has begun the process. And Darlene has completed the process. Excellent, guys. So I hope that everybody who's listening, you see that you have multiple other resources that you can reach out to and say, hey, I see that you completed the process. What do I need to do from here? Nevertheless, there is always more business to be had. And when you are diligent to do the things that we are teaching you guys to do, and you add all of your lead generating and prospecting on top of it, you guys will have a 2025 that is like a year that you have never seen. You will be most profitable and most prosperous in this year. And we are absolutely believing that for each and every last one of you. So we ask that you do your part and be diligent and be committed to the things that we are instructing you guys to do because it is for your benefit. All right. Miss Pat, I see you said that you started the process. Excellent. All right. So at this point, I'm going to pause for a moment and I'm going to open up the floor to you guys to see if anybody have any comments, any questions, any key takeaways from anything that we've recapped today or anything that we've gone through in the series that we've been dealing with for the last month or so. The floor is yours.
So can I just say, I especially enjoyed the training last week because one of the myths that we oftentimes have, a lot of us have, is that credit is bad. Credit is bad for you. And Mr. Porter um, made shared with us the idea that, you have credit. If you have a mortgage, you have credit, you know, and you are faithful to be responsible with that credit. And so that's the same thing as it pertains to, I think that is the thing that kind of helped a lot of us to say, okay, you know what, that makes sense. And so let me allow my business to take care of itself. Um, Understanding that you have the credit, you need the credit in order to have the business.
Outstanding, Anita. Thank you so much for reiterating that. And that was such a powerful point. And when we had that conversation, a lot of people were stirred up about it because a lot of people were taught that credit is bad. Stay away from credit. Run. If somebody says credit, you go in the opposite direction. But the truth of the matter is, when you are in business, credit will help you to leverage and grow your business so much more. It will multiply the access that you have in your business. And as Anita said, if you own a car and you didn't pay for it in cash, you already have credit. If you've already purchased a house, you already have credit. If you have a credit card for your personal needs, you already have credit. There's so many things that we use credit for. We want you to use it wisely and we want you to be smart because there's a such thing as good credit or debt, and there's a such thing as bad debt. And good debt is what you use, or good credit is what you use to help you to buy assets and for you to build assets for yourself, for you to multiply what it is that you have. Bad debt is what you have that you're just being wasteful and you're just buying everything and not paying the bill and not paying attention to it. And that is not at all what we are instructing you guys to do. We are doing our best to convince you guys, be good stewards over it. Get you some business credit, get those cards, allow it to fund your marketing so that you can already look and say, well, if I know that this is going to give me a, whatever percent return on my investment, I already know what I need to invest for this year in order to have the income that I desire. So you set that marketing budget and you allow it to run. And then you're going to get to the point where all of you are going to need showing agents, where all of you are going to be, joining teams, beginning teams, or whatever the case may be. But all of that boils down to you positioning yourself in order to have leverage. We already talked about it with your business. It's its own entity. So yes, we want you to improve your credit until you get to a really good credit score. But even beyond that, your business is an entity on its own. So you will be able to do whatever you need to do for your business through your business. Does anybody else have any questions, any comments, any key takeaways? I'm turning it over to you.
Yeah, Mrs.
Yeah,
Short.
I think. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I think like the reason why a lot of people don't like credit because like back in the day they didn't know the difference between a charge card and a credit card. Charge people was using charge cards and didn't know that they had to pay the balance off right away, and didn't know they thought that was an actual credit card. But now it's like I learned like the to leverage my credit, and it does help because when I first started doing real estate like 10 years ago, I was using my personal credit cards and making the balances too high. But then I didn't even realize that you had the DUNS number for your business, and then you get like even more credit and like lower interest rates. Sometimes up like 0% interest for like a year almost sometimes. But and you can just use that for your business marketing instead of using your personal credit and getting yourself into to a lot of debt.
Outstanding, Ronald. I love what he said, guys. That's our goal for all of you. Everything that you have in terms of your real estate expenses should be paid on your real estate credit card. And guess what? It does not count against your own debt to income ratio. I love that. Go ahead, Kermon.
I just want to piggyback on what Ron said because there's this one thing that I did not realize. I was using, and this is why what Mr. Porter talked about helped me become a little bit more disciplined because I was using my business credit card. Sometimes I just pull it out just willy nilly. Because I wasn't looking. I'm at the gas station. I'm doing something. I just pull out a card. But what I found out was because I was getting all of these credit, stuff that you get when you cash back and all these different things. So what I started doing was I started making sure that I was using my business credit card, not just if I'm doing something through Porterhouse, but if I'm buying gas to go to a showing, a closing, or whatever, I'm using that credit card for that. And if I'm doing anything business related, so if I'm at the gas station, I'm not just pulling out any credit card. If I'm not at the gas station getting gas because I did something in my business, I'm using my regular credit card. And then the other thing that helped me a lot was because I hadn't had a lot of transactions, but I was using my business credit card when I would go to, like I said, closings or anything that had to do with business. Once I did a transaction, I made enough because I wasn't able to pay the whole credit card off each month. I was paying on it. But I did a transaction, made enough to pay off the whole credit card. I added to my limit by you because this card allows me to do that. So I was able to increase my limit, pay off the credit card the amount that I owed, and still had money left over. So now I have it set up where I have enough available credit and I know how to use it, not just willy-nilly where I'm using it for everything. I'm only using it for the things that it's allotted for. And at tax time, it's a lot easier to track what you used it for than it is if you're trying to find all these papers and all these receipts. I keep all my receipts for that card in one location. So now my wife is not yelling at me anymore, and everything is a lot easier and smoother. So I just tell everybody you have to just get a shoebox, put all of your receipts in there so you can track it because the IRS says that if you can show receipts, if you can show that you have a business, otherwise they say it's a hobby. So that's all I got.
If I may, I'd like to add to that if I can.
Of course. Great job, Kermon. Come on, Sean.
All right. So, Kerman really put in some really good information there. I wanted to touch on a couple of it. So the receipts thing is huge. any and everything you do that has a reasonable relation to what to your work, right? So you fill up the gas for your car that you drive to go to a showing, for instance. That is that you can use that. That is tax deductible expense. So what you need to do is, Kermon, we got to get with the times here. Don't put it in the shoebox because I mean, how often are you just going to kind of throw it away by accident? You put it in your wallet after you get a receipt. No, so there are tools out there now that have simplified all the processes. I'm not trying to promote any business, but there's a company called Spark Receipt, sparkreceipt.com. They are amazing. Basically, you set up an account with them. They have a dedicated email for you. Any invoice, any receipt you get online that you pay or whatever, you just send that email. AI automatically organizes it. They automatically account for what the type of charge it is that was to the business, and then they also calculate it for you. And now you have everything by month on what your business is taking up. And then on top of that, what if you get a paper receipt? They have an app where you can just take a photo, automatically goes and uploads to that. It's seamless, seconds. You don't have to have worry about receipts anymore. So that's the first part. I would recommend a service like that. I personally use sparkreceipt.com. And then the other one, with regards to the credit cards in general. So a big issue that a lot of people have is when they're opening a business account, a business credit card. The issue is that the question is, hey, well, has your business been around for a couple of years, right? That is a question that happens a lot whenever you're trying to get financing on behalf of a business. That is not the case. That belief is not entirely correct. Uh, if you have, let's say, you want to establish you want to have a business credit card, or even more so, if you want to have a line of credit, uh, both these things can happen even if you just open your LLC yesterday, right? If you open your LLC today, for instance, and tomorrow you go to a bank, and there are a lot of banks out there. I'm not going to say a specific one, but if anybody would like some advising on or recommendations, feel free to reach out to me. But you go out to the bank and then you say, okay, what business credit cards can I reasonably use for my new business and also give me a line of credit? There are banks out there that will service you, and what they'll do is if you are under 2 years, they'll ask you for your personal credit. So, what is your personal credit looking like? If your personal credit is over 740, guess what? You're gold. Banks are more willing to extend business credit cards. They're more willing to extend to you lines of credit if you are willing to be the personally backing the credit card or uh, uh, the line of credit that you charge off. So I personally do that with my businesses, and yeah, it's been a lifesaver for me, especially the line of credit. There are banks out there right now that do 1 whole year 0% APR. So can you imagine if you had some major expenses, you push it out, and you don't have to pay any interest on it for a whole year. So just make sure you do pay it because, if you still have a balance after that year, it's going to be rough. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, both Kermon and Sean. And Sean, if you would do us a favor and drop those resources right in the chat. Who'd like to go next? You have something else for us, Kermon? Okay. There is some tremendous insight among us, guys. A part of our theme is moving forward and moving higher together. So all of us together, we have many more insights and many more resources than any one of us. So if there's anybody else that has anything to add to this conversation that would be a benefit to the group, go ahead and bring yourself off mute. Even if you have any key takeaways, thoughts, insights, or whatever it is, I want to hear from you guys.
I have some input. Mile IQ. If you guys don't use that, that's definitely something that us realtors need to use because it's $40 a year. and it tracks all your mileage. And then it gives you a spreadsheet toward the end of the year, and it actually, whatever the gas price is at that period of time, it actually gives your mileage based on what the going rate is for gas. So you have that tracks your mileage for your showings and your open houses and all that good stuff. So Mile IQ is a good app to track your mileage.
Outstanding. Thank you so much, Darlene. Drop it in the chat. Who's next? You guys have some tremendous insights. And all of you, you bring such a tremendous value to the whole conversation. And I love that many of you have had the experiences that we're talking about, and most of you have already established your businesses like a business, and others are working on it. But I promise you, it is absolutely to your benefit. Because no matter what 2024 looked like for you, if you simply do the things that we're talking about and establish that business credit, then you will have all of the credit that you need to leverage yourself and begin this year on fire. Even if you go to, one bank and have one business credit card. But I want to make it perfectly clear, you are not limited to just one business credit card, and you're certainly not limited to one bank. You can have as many business credit cards as you'll be approved for with any of the banks that will approve you for it. So be bold and be courageous and be determined that you're going to have the best year ever, and you are not going to allow anything to stop you. No matter what it looked like before, you are starting fresh. We have a brand new year, and I am excited for all the opportunities that are available to you guys. And I see that Gina has turned her camera on. Do you have something for us today, Gina? I see you talking,
Okay.
but you're on mute. There you go.
I'm sorry.
Hello, Gina.
Hey, how are you? I'm sorry. I got
Wonderful. And
several
you?
things going on at the same time. But thank you everybody who added their input to what Mr. Porter and yourself has taught. But one thing I've noticed when it comes to I got everything else set up. I got the bank, I got my LLC, all that stuff. But when I went to my bank to do that, to try to get business credit, um, they wanted to look at my personal, credit report. And I really don't want them to do that, but I mean, it is what it is. And I wasn't able to get a card or get credit to my account. So I don't know. But anyway, that was that.
Thank you so much for including that, Gina, because some people have had that experience. One of the things that Mr. Porter mentioned, and Sean just piggybacked on too, if your entity is less than 2 years old, they will ask to see your personal credit for some banks, but not all of them. There are quite a number of banks that will approve you just on the merit of your entity alone. So what you want to do, like with what Mr. Porter was advising us to do in order to build our business credit, there are many things that he taught us to do. So getting your DUNS number, one of the things that you can do, those net 30 accounts where you might buy a mug. You might buy a t-shirt 1 month, a mug 1 month, and some pins the next month. And you simply pay those accounts off before that 30 days are up. And now, guess what? Your business credit score, your rating for your business is going to go through the roof because you've shown that your business is credit worthy and responsible. So once you do that, then your business credit will no longer be tied to your personal credit at all. So you just want to go through that process of doing those things. And we're kind of close to the end of our time. Otherwise, I would reiterate it, but I want you to look at the video, and you can even give us a call, and it's even in your BrokerMint library in order for you to build your business credit. Because just like you can build personal credit, you can build business credit. And no matter how old your business is, if you have strong business credit, you'll be able to get financing for it. So
Thank you. I
thank you so
appreciate
much
that.
for saying that. You're very, very welcome. Anybody else? You guys have been wonderful today. This has been some tremendous contribution from each and every last one of you. I thank you guys for all of your input. I see we have those messages in the chat. Yes, thank you, Faith, for putting sparkreceipt.com. Thank you, Darlene, for dropping in there Mile IQ. Yes, this is very valuable information. And Ronald put one of the things in there that is very much true. So one of the easiest cards to get for your business credit is a gas card. So Ronald put in the chat, A and B gas card will build your business credit, and your business only needs to be around for a few months. So that is a benefit that each and every last one of our Realty pros should have. Take your business and get you a business gas card, because not only is it going to build your business credit, you actually need that gas to run around on showings and listing appointments and to the brokerage and prospecting and everything that it is that you do to diligently run your business. So thank you for dropping that in the chat, Ronald. That was great. You got it. All right, guys. If anybody has anything that they'd like to contribute, I'll give you the last moment. Otherwise, outstanding job. I'm going to turn it back over to our amazing office manager, Mrs. Anita Bowie, and she will give us further instructions and some announcements for this evening. All right. Anita, I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mrs. Porter. You did a great job filling in for Mr. Porter. We appreciate that so much. And we appreciate all the engagement that we have from the Realty Pros, as Ms. Porter had mentioned, in all your contributions. We really do appreciate you all being willing to share the things that you know to help your fellow Realty Pro. We appreciate that. I did want to again reiterate that we are going to be this evening's mastermind. Angela had actually put a question in the chat, and so we want to make sure that we. Oh, I'm trying to get to the place where it was. Okay, so it says I need leads. And I think that's probably everyone who's on the call now, right? Everyone who's on the call, I'm sure, can use a lead or five. And so this evening's mastermind, I think, is going to be a great opportunity for you all to get leads. So I want to encourage everyone to join in this evening. We are going to be hybrid, so you can absolutely come and join us in the office, or we will have it available via Zoom as well. And that starts at 7 o'clock. And then also, as another reminder to us, I want to make sure that everyone is aware that we have 2 trainings available on Thursday. So we have the day class and we have the evening class. And so our day class begins at 12:30. Our evening class begins at 7 p.m. in the evening. And the great part about that is that there are 2 different subject matters that are being covered on Thursday. There's one subject during Realty Talk, and then there's a different subject during the mastermind time. So we want to encourage everybody to join us for that, for both of those opportunities to be a part of those trainings. And I think that is possibly all. Everybody, we're also gearing up for our expo. Let me say this first. On the 22nd of February, we have our Fundamentals of Success Boot Camp. And this boot camp is especially for our newer agents. You're able to come in, join us for a day's worth of training. It's from 9 until 5. That's a Saturday, the 27th of February. And so you're able to come in, join us, and you're able to begin the foundation of your business the Porterhouse way. Okay, so we start from A and we take you all the way to Z. So we're helping to assist you in setting the foundation. So for your 2025 and beyond real estate business. So please make sure you add that to your calendar. The great part about it is that not only is this intentional for our newer agents, it's absolutely intentional for our agents that have been with us for a while. If you just want to come and you want to join and get some more of what we have, that's great also. And then our expo, our homebuyer expo, is coming up in March. And so the plan is to next week. Mrs. Porter has already provided us with the save the date. So you can begin to send that out to anyone, to all of your contacts and anyone that you come across that you may be able to serve as far as representing them for a purchase, right? And then we're going to have our flyers available very shortly. Okay. And then always will need, and we appreciate so much all of the individuals who have agreed to come and support and join in and be a part of this expo. We have had a lot of really great, a lot of people have volunteered to help and participate. So we appreciate that so much. If you have not yet, volunteered, there is still room for you. So we want to make sure that, you absolutely, if you're interested, put your name in the chat and say, hey, I want to volunteer for the expo. And I believe that is everything. Yes. So does anyone have any questions? I'm give a quick minute for questions. And if not, then I will go ahead and we will close out for this afternoon.
Great job, everybody. Thank you guys for logging on today. Thank you for investing in your real estate future. We want you guys to have the best year possible. Have a productive afternoon and see you guys this evening.
Take care.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Great evening. You all have a great one. Take care.
You guys too. Thank you.
Have a great day, everyone.
You
God
too.
bless you.
God bless you too.